Welcome to Mr. Ruzicka's Civics course. I apologize I cannot be there in person, but I think you could understand. So I tried to reproduce my classroom using this so you can see the different posters if you want to pause it, because I always feel like a teacher's classroom shows off really what they care about and their kind of attitude. So meanwhile, here's the agenda. There's the two wonderful babies I'll be home with, taking care of. And I usually like to do this more interactive, like my class, but that's not exactly how a video works. But we're still going to roll with it. So, which school do you think I did not attend? Was it Marquette, Universidad Centroamericana, University of Wisconsin, or Lake Forest College? Right? Most people guess it's Universidad Centroamericana, but I did attend there. I did service and praxis and community building, working on my Spanish skills as well for about 6 months. But as it relates to civics, it's basically my whole career has been about it since the moment I stepped into a classroom. At Marquette, I focused on history and criminology and law in preparation to possibly become part of law enforcement. So I have a very unique perspective of civics when it comes to that. At UW Milwaukee, I got my master's in leadership, and I'm in charge of the civics team at our school, which has a bunch of brilliant teachers that have really helped us elevate the curriculum over the last 5, 6 years. I also am proud to be part of the Lake Forest College high school civics and U.S. history teachers. We get together there and we take classes. I think I've taken like 24 credits. And we also, network and try to make our founding documents come more alive for our students, show them the true controversy in it. And then there's a couple others on there. But the thing I want to point out to the most is that my teaching background. I've always taught U.S. history. I took over six when I got here, and I came to OPRF in 2017. I actually didn't plan on leaving St. Pat's at that time, but I got the job offer and I had to take it because this is one place I always wanted to be, and this is where I will be for the rest of my career. So I think that's till 2053. All right. So our goals in civics, the first one is to develop your civic identity and some purpose. Next is to understand your rights, right? Because the difference between a government course and a civics course is civics is about you as a person, as a U.S. resident or citizen, right? And then we should only learn about the government in a way that we can use it, right? And in ways that it's used against us. So that's where we go into the third part, which is navigate and leverage institutions to affect change, take action, make a difference, and develop high leverage skills. So these are our units. As you can see, pretty straightforward. We like to do a big mix of activities in our class. So a lot of discussions, hot topics, and always making sure we're bringing that back to like, why does this matter to you as a U.S. resident? So next, these are just questions about class, but where can your students find all class information? It's going to be Google Classroom, as well as they can find on Google Classroom in the stream. I post an agenda every day and daily slides so they know what they need to do. They can also sign up to meet with me through Google Classroom. All right, all the following are required except, so being closed-minded is clearly the exception here. They need to be open-minded because we got to take from all sides, right? And I really challenge our students to heighten their critical thinking by taking what they disagree with and then defending it. That really shows the utmost amount of critical thinking. And I will do that too. Now, when I talk about making sure that we're open-minded and listening to all sides, that is within the constraints of humanizing people. We will not allow for dehumanizing arguments to be made. If they're happening by politicians and what we're reading, that's one thing, but we will not defend those because humanity is the most important thing we can have. We shouldn't lose it. These are just some of the expectations we create. I believe that it should be a two-way street. I always got a little miffed when I had teachers that say, like, you must do this, this, and this. And I was like, wait, what do you have to do? This is a contract. And so what I want to mention is the things that I make sure that I agree to for my students in civics is that no more than 3 assignments per week. If they don't use their time efficiently in class, that's their deal. Next, there's a 25-minute limit to out of class work. What that means is that if they use their time effectively in class, and then outside of class, set their phone for 25-minute timer, put it away, no distractions, just focus. Once you have 25 minutes, if you're not done, put a line where you stopped, send me an email and let me know. Honestly, when this happens, I don't just get one email, I get multiple. So that shows that maybe I need to clarify something and provide more time. And then the other part is we do current events every week. So ask your students what's going on in civics, what are you learning about, what's going on in current events, and they should have some reasonable idea. The next is, how will your student be assessed? And I'm going to kind of get a little bit quicker going through these because there's some specific civic stuff I want to get to. So I grade based on proficiency in writing, speaking, and critical concepts. Reading is something we're still building in as an assessment, but it's not something we've assigned yet. So this is going to be anything from they will do an essay, they will do projects, they will create media, they will engage in debates. All those will be summative assessments, which is the majority of their grade. And on that note, I should let you know that every student can reassess as many times as they want. Basically, if you're willing to put in work, I'm willing to put in work on my end to give you the grade you deserve. So I also give feedback loops. So you'll see in the grade book, there'll be a lot of things that say like does not count or exempt. And that's just a check-in score for them. So they know like, all right, Mr. Ruzicka checked in my intro paragraph. This is the score I would get if I didn't change it. So, right. Next, for homework, uh, if it's late, they should email me or they should put it in a late folder. For homework assignments and formative assignments, students should always send me an email for late work. And also, this is a smaller chunk of the grade because they just don't get it that much in the first place. All late work is accepted before the unit summative is completed, so by the end of the unit. The purpose of the 4-point scale is basically to eliminate the harmful effects of a 0 on a 100-point scale. If you think about it, on a 100-point scale, 50 out of 100 is an F. So what's a 0 out of 100? That's a super F. So in my scale, which is 0 to 4, 0 is a 0, right? There's no super 0. The other part is that it also helps students to more think of in proficiency rather than to think of like, oh, I'm going to get like an 82%. So that way, it's pretty cut and dry that on the rubric, there's 4 levels. These are the levels you're at based on the score you got, right? I can see, oh, I need to do this to improve. I need to cite my sources. So now finally, the most important thing to tell you is about service learning. Service learning is a state requirement. That state requirement we've interpreted to be 3 hours of civic service. They must check with me first for their service. This is something we're going to work on all year. And then if there are any unique situations, I should be told now because we do have more creative solutions for those students. And most importantly, we're going to work on the entire year, but it must relate to an issue of interest, right? It should be something that they care about. So the first unit, we spend all this time thinking about what are your values? What are your communities? What do you care about? And from there, then we find our civic service project. Say that 10 times fast. All right, so you can see these students are picking up trash. This student is working at Roses for Austin. And then if you have time, I'll provide links to some of our other students' projects that they've done that we presented at the Illinois Council Conference on Social Studies. So finally, what can I ask of you? Support your student, encourage them to treat class as class, ask about their learning, keep up with Google Classroom and Skyward. Make sure they unplug each day. It's very important because we do use Chromebooks so often in school. And then feel free to contact me and have them meet with me. All right. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of that school night.